certified most accurate forecast from the Fox 54 Weather Impact Team.
It was a fantastic Tuesday afternoon across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. Check out today's high temperatures. 77 was a very popular number. The Huntsville International Airport saw 77 degrees, and then so did a variety of other places across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. Florence, you were the warm spot this afternoon. You saw a high temperature today of 79 degrees. 76 was the high temperature in Fort Payne. A vast improvement over what we saw yesterday, but these numbers still below where we should be this time of year. The average high temperature right around 81 degrees at this point in early May. We're a good 8 to 12 degrees warmer right now than we were just this time 24 hours ago. Don't worry about doing the math. I've gone ahead and done that math for you. From the top of Green Mountain, we find ourselves sitting at 75 degrees. I want you to pay attention to the dew point, though. The dew point currently sitting in the lower 50s. Somewhat of a lack of humidity across the Tennessee Valley, you might say. Now we have begun to notice an increase in cloud cover over the last couple of hours, and you can kind of see that here from the top of Green Mountain. But otherwise, it is a beautiful evening, not just here from the top of Green Mountain, but elsewhere across the Tennessee Valley. We're sitting at 74, both Pulaski and Fayetteville. We're sitting at 73 in Albertville. We're sitting at 72 right now in Russellville. 74 degrees over in Florence. A beautiful evening over in northeast Alabama as well. We're looking live over to DeKalb County. Again, you can kind of begin to notice the increase in cloud cover over in northeast Alabama, but according to the current temperatures that I just showed you, still a beautiful evening. And then another stop for you from the top of the parkway. We're looking south on Memorial Parkway, 6 o'clock in the evening. And honestly, traffic really doesn't look all that bad on the parkway. It's going to be a fantastic evening. Cloud cover is going to continue to build across the Tennessee Valley, but if you'd like to spend some time outside, you can certainly do that. And I highly suggest spending some time outside because it's probably going to be the best evening through the rest of the forecast period. 72 at 7, 68 by 8, 67 degrees by the time we get to 9 o'clock. Radar not picking up on a single drop of rain this evening despite the increase in cloud cover across the Tennessee Valley. Radar not really yielding any rain, and we're going to remain dry for the next couple of hours. But there is a lot of rain back off to the west. That rain beginning to push its way into the state of Mississippi. Otherwise, we're talking about quite a bit of rain across Louisiana, and then as we head up into Arkansas. Now, some of that is going to build into the Tennessee Valley as we head into the overnight through the earliest hours of your Wednesday morning. Here's what Futurecast looks like. 2:30. 3 o'clock in the morning, we're talking about widespread rain across all of North Alabama. Maybe this activity is a little bit lighter, a little more scattered in nature up across southern Middle Tennessee. That's what we could be talking about up in Giles and Lincoln counties. And then mixed in within all of this could be a couple of rumbles of thunder. But in general, I don't really think we're going to be talking about much in the way of any sort of thunderstorm activity. And frankly, I think the heaviest of the precipitation is going to sit south of Coleman County. Really, we're getting Birmingham and then points to the south. That's where I think the axis of heavier precipitation is going to end up establishing itself. Yes, we're still talking about some widespread rain through the earliest hours of Wednesday morning, but in general, the heaviest precipitation is going to sit to our south. Good thing, too, because we don't necessarily need the rain. Look what Futurecast does. 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, still holding on to a little bit of rain across northeast Alabama, still holding on to a little bit of rain up across southern middle Tennessee, but it's trying to dry the rest of us out. So we might not have to contend with any rainfall for the Wednesday morning commute. Now, does that mean you should leave the house without an umbrella? Absolutely not. Keep the umbrella handy all day. You never really know. As we head into the lunch hour, a couple of isolated showers are going to be possible, but a good number of us are going to be dry. And that's how we're going to spend a good chunk of the afternoon. Isolated showers are going to be possible. We're going to be talking about a mostly cloudy or an overcast sky, but as we head into Wednesday afternoon, there are going to be significant periods of dry time before some widely scattered shower activity begins to push its way into the Tennessee Valley as we head into Wednesday evening. That activity could stick with us as we head into the overnight and then through the earliest hours of your Thursday morning. Several other opportunities for rain in the forecast this week. As a matter of fact, rain is a pretty healthy bet almost every single day, but this does not in any way, shape, or form mean that every single day is going to be a complete and total wash. I just need you to understand that rain is going to be in the forecast every single day through the rest of the work week and then even as we head into the weekend. Now, in yesterday's forecast, I actually had the weekend dry. That has since changed. Scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms are going to be possible both Saturday and Sunday. And then rain stays in the forecast Monday and Tuesday of next week. Now, normally, May is one of the wetter months in the calendar year. So, in all honesty, this really shouldn't come as much of a surprise to you. But look at the rainfall totals. By the time we get to the lunch hour on Saturday, these numbers really not going to be all that impressive. In general, we're looking at anywhere between a half an inch to an inch of additional rainfall across the entire Tennessee Valley. And like I said, rainfall that we don't necessarily need. Totally dry through the first 5 days of the month of May, the first full days of the month of May. Look at this. On the 2nd, we saw 2.04 inches of rain. On the 3rd, 1.43 inches of rain. And then on the 4th, 12/100ths of an inch. If you add all that up, the Huntsville International Airport has seen right around 3.59 inches of rain so far in the month of May. Now, that number is not a complete representation of the entire Tennessee Valley. For example, our friends over in the Shoals have seen a little less rain so far in the month of May. I think the total right now over at the Muscle Shoals Regional Airport is right around 1.49 inches of rain. Tomorrow afternoon, rain's going to be likely across the Tennessee Valley. I've got a high temperature right around 72 degrees, but we're not talking about any severe weather. Maybe a couple of thunderstorms, but we're really not talking about any severe weather. And I want to talk about how important that is, and I've shown this several different times. We are still in our spring severe weather season, which is March, April, and then May. Now, it tends to trail off in the month of May, right? Spring severe weather season typically gets us through about the first half of May and then trails off, especially once we get to the back half of May. Then we get to our summer storm season where there's just a chance for a hit or miss thunderstorm across the Tennessee Valley. That activity not typically severe. And then we get to our secondary severe weather season, which is just typically the month of November. As we head into the overnight, we're talking about the chance of rain across the Tennessee Valley. I've got a low temperature right around 58 degrees. When the kids get on the school bus, kind of already established this, a couple of isolated showers are going to be possible, but a good number of us might end up staying dry. Temperature-wise, not all that bad. Much better tomorrow morning compared to what we had this morning. This morning, temperatures were in the upper 40s and lower 50s. We're talking about the lower 60s tomorrow morning. 62 at 7, 63 at 8, 63 at 9, 65 degrees by the time we get to 10 o'clock in the morning. And then again, rain is going to be likely tomorrow afternoon. I've got a high temperature at around 71 degrees. Don't forget, you can connect with me on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman, Twitter or X, whatever you'd like to call it, I suppose, J Dressman WX. And then, of course, you can follow me on Instagram if you really want to. Now, I don't really post a lot of weather-related content on Instagram. Instagram is much more about my personal life. So if you just want the weather-related content with very little else, I would suggest following me on my Facebook page, Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman, though I do post a fun thing or two every now and again on my Facebook page that I personally think could be worth the follow. Like we talk about the question of the day on my Facebook page. Last week I put a post up asking folks to ask me a question. It could be weather-related, it could be not weather-related. And then I took all of the questions, I shoved them into ChatGPT and told ChatGPT to spit me out a different question every single day. And today's question is once again weather-related. And we've been on a streak of weather-related questions, which is interesting because I have non-weather-related questions in there. ChatGPT just hasn't given me one of them. Is lightning always white? I've only seen white, but it looked reddish at 35,000 feet. Lightning just appears white. It could be a variety of different things. The angle to which you're looking at the lightning, the distance you are away from the lightning, any sort of atmospheric particles that might be at play, pollen or dust, the amount of humidity in the atmosphere, that all plays a key factor in what color the lightning appears to you. Plus, lightning in general is just a really big bright flash. Really hard to see many of the details. Now, at 35,000 feet, you're talking about Rayleigh scattering, which is the same process by which we get the reds and the oranges in the sunset. You're looking at it at a vastly different angle, at a vastly different altitude. So you're looking at the lightning in a completely different way if you're in an airplane at 35,000 feet. So it may have that reddish hue to it, or it could even have a different color. If you have a question you'd like to ask me, you can go venture over to my Facebook page, Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman, or you can text me your questions. Texting's pretty easy, 256-382-2692. I want you to have a good look at the next 7 days. 71 on Wednesday, 77 Thursday, 75 on Friday. Pay attention to the 7-day forecast because the one thing we notice is that temperatures are going to remain below average. Sunday is Mother's Day, so by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday of next week, I think we could healthily say that we are into the middle part of May. Monday and Tuesday would be May 12th and May 13th. So we're heading into the middle part of May and still looking at below average temperatures, which some of you may actually appreciate considering that we all know the summer heat is eventually going to build into the Tennessee Valley. So any stretch of days where we can get below average temperatures might actually be appreciated.